This is, how do I even start this? Hi, it's been a while. I haven't made a video in a very, very long time. Especially one that I've actually uploaded to YouTube, but I'm also, yes, background RuneScape. Ignore that. Also just gonna turn this off because it's kind of annoying. The music is set to random. I have no idea what it's gonna be. I don't care if it fits the mood. It doesn't matter. Hi, hello. This is Windless Zephyr, I guess, is the name I used once upon a time. I usually go by Ruby these days, like the gemstone. I'm making this more for me than anything. But, I just want to talk about where I'm at in life right now, and how things have gone, in particular over the last couple of years. How do I even put this? I had an idea for this video where it would basically be like some of the ones I've made before, where it was just a recording of like my computer background, my desktop, and I would just talk about something that seemed important to me or something that was going on or whatever. I kind of wanted to do that again, but I don't feel like using my desktop this time, so you get to see me mine for gems in old school RuneScape. I guess I'm kind of just waffling a little bit. This is going to be a completely rambly, pointless video, and I understand if nobody gives a shit. Like, that's completely fair. I don't think I would give a shit if I saw somebody upload this kind of thing. The gist of what this video is that I am extremely depressed and very broken, which is all a direct result of just a confluence of problems that stem directly from losing my job at Nintendo. So I don't know if I ever talked about this in any capacity on this channel, but I actually got a job working at Nintendo, you know, the Nintendo. First in the warehouse and then later in the product testing department. I think technically I'm still under some sort of vaguely enforceable non-disclosure agreement, so I won't say details too much about the job, but I worked on a bunch of games for Nintendo. I did QA and testing work, debug testing as they called it. Like, for example, my name is in the credits for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which, if you know anything about me, you'll know how incredible that is. For me personally, specifically. But I also worked on some other games there. It doesn't really matter too much what I worked on. What matters is that towards the start of last year, in February, I was illegally fired, and I can say that with certainty because after a very, very long investigation and legal proceedings and all sorts of stuff, the National Labor Relations Board in the United States found that, yes, both of my employers, the contracting agency that was my direct employer and Nintendo of America, had violated labor law, and yada yada yada. It was a whole thing. There was actually a lot of like news media and press coverage about this incident. It was first reported by, I never learned how exactly to pronounce his last name, but I believe it's Totilo? Stephen Totilo, with Axios. I guess if anybody is actually watching this or listening to it and is curious, just comment on the video and ask for links to articles or whatever, and I can provide them. But anyway, the direct result of losing my job and entering this ridiculously long legal fight, which lasted for many, many months over the course of last year, is that I almost literally lost my ability to have a job, to work a job, especially here in the US. The damage to my mental health was so tremendous that I knew it would take a very long time to recover, if I would ever recover, and well, like I said, this happened in February when I was fired, and you can see it's August of the following year now, and I still don't have a job and still can't get one. After I was fired, I had to make a choice, and that choice was whether I would be able to... I had to decide whether I'd be able to subject myself to finding another job immediately or move back in with my parents, because I could not justify staying with my roommates at the time without being able to, pay rent and utilities, my share of living expenses. So I made the choice to move in with my parents, who promised me a minimum, or maybe it was exactly, I'm not sure what the conditions were, of 1 year of just existing, dealing with the legal stuff, dealing with my mental health, yada yada yada. They promised me that. I'm sure that there's some potential tone here. If there's any tone in my voice right now, I can't really tell. They did not hold to that promise. After increasing tensions and a number of other personal things in my life that I don't really feel like talking about here, because it's not really my place or the point to do so, they threw me out. Some kind of ridiculous mental health breaks of their own. Things just crumbled, and one day I was removed from the house and had to find somewhere else to go. That would have been, I believe it was August 1st of last year, I think. So I lived with my parents for about 5 months, I think. Something like that. Luckily, I don't know if this music is too loud. I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Luckily, I had some friends who were already aware that I was struggling and had offered me a place to live with them while I tried to work this out. I defaulted to my parents because I didn't want to be an imposition or a burden on my friends, and I thought, what are parents supposed to be for other than support their children, right? Apparently not, go figure. But those same friends who had offered that were incredibly gracious and allowed me to move in with them, and I'm still there with them, and it's been over a year at this point. Because of the tremendous amount of trauma that I've endured over the last year and a half or so, my mental health has deteriorated to a point where I cannot go a few hours of existence without actively wishing I was dead. I've been told that this is not a normal thing, and that it's not normal for people to want to die all the time, literally, almost, but I can't fathom how that's not normal, because that's all I can think anymore. I think about getting up in the morning, and I would literally rather die than, face my roommates or housemates, or I think about like I go to say look at a job posting board online like Indeed or some shit like that, and I look at a few jobs, and the only thing that I can do when I look at them is break down. I can spend a few minutes looking at any individual job posting, and my brain just starts to spiral into all the ways that it could go wrong, or it could ruin me even further, and I just can't. The levels of depression and the frequency of dissociative episodes are also pretty overwhelming, I guess. If by some miracle anybody's still listening at this point, and you're thinking what most normal or rational people would think, why haven't I gone to like go to therapy or get a therapist or something? Well, I have, and it turned out that the therapist that I had, past tense, was very good at helping me deal with my parents, which I did not know was such a big problem for me, until even well after they decided to oust me from their house. That therapist helped me deal with them, but was not even remotely equipped to help me deal with the psychological strain of job hunting and the thought of working and the suicidal bullshit. So eventually I did make the decision to drop that therapist, and I haven't found another one since, because as it turns out, all three of the therapists I've seen in my life, they all basically had the same end result. They didn't really help me with the deeper underlying problems, and although I guess in their defense I was never very good at identifying those problems, and I'm still not, but I'm trying to get better at it. For better or for worse, I guess. I've basically just completely lost faith in a therapist's or a psychologist's ability to help me at all, like in any capacity, because I'm just so entrenched in endless negativity in my head. I cannot fathom how a 50-minute session every like 2 to 4 weeks is gonna do anything when I'm just talking with someone. Like, what is that going to accomplish? My friends keep telling me that that's the point, and you continue to do it because every little bit is working towards that goal of being healthy and functional again, and like, I see literally no evidence to support that claim at all, other than a bunch of different people are saying it of their own accord. Fair enough, I guess. If they believe that, they believe that. I can't take that from them, but it's never worked for me. So, thanks, RuneScape. You're gonna play a pretty upbeat song now. That's nice. Where's my next button? There is no next button. Who gives a shit? For the record, when I'm playing this game, I have the sound muted for RuneScape at all times, like 100% of the time. I just turned it on here because I didn't want this video to be just my voice. And the fans running in the background, because this room that I live in right now gets pretty damn hot sometimes. Right. I wanted to just talk about this stuff because I know that music, that is too jovial. Can you not? You just get to be at 2% now. What was I saying? Right. I know that talking about stuff or documenting it, like in a journal or a diary or anything like that, does typically help one process these kinds of problems, especially when the problems are almost entirely internal. So I've been slacking on that, which means I'm making this so that I can kind of sort of do that. This is like a form of an outlet, and it's also a little bit of a test. Because the way I see it, where my life currently is now, where I am now, I think it is actually impossible for me to have and hold like a standard full-time job ever again. I don't think I can do it. I am fairly certain that if I were to try, I would just end up wanting to kill myself after 6 months, which is what's happened with every single one of the jobs I've ever had. Full-time, part-time, entry-level, professional, all of them. They just always end up there. And I'm afraid that one of the times that happens, if I continue to try and push myself, it's actually gonna happen. That was an incident that occurred at Nintendo, working on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, again, our vague non-disclosure agreement, which may or may not even be legally enforceable, nobody knows. The laws around NDAs and non-compete stuff and trade secret stuff, the laws are incredibly vague in the US. They're not defined at all. I had an incident there that caused that, and when I finally got to a breaking point where I had to speak to my recruiter no, I think he was just technically a recruiter. I had to speak to him about it. I got told off for swearing while we were talking instead of getting any sort of like sympathy or compassion or like thoughts on how to handle that kind of situation from an employment perspective. I got nothing from the guy. To his credit, when I did have to go back to Nintendo because I couldn't find a job elsewhere in the industry after a few months, he apologized for not handling it correctly, and I did appreciate that. But that, like, even working at Nintendo, which is for probably millions of people arguably a dream job, working as what is functionally a game tester, which is also a dream job for a lot of people. Side note, game testing is not what you think it is, I promise. It is not fun. I mean, it can be fun, but it's really not fun. And like working on an entry in the Smash Bros. Series, which, as I've gone on record before on this channel saying, Super Smash Bros. Saved my life in college because it kept me from actively killing myself. So, like, even having the opportunity to work at a place like that, on a project like that, didn't stop my brain from spiraling and crumbling and my entire psyche from just falling apart. That didn't stop it either. So, like, why would I have any faith in any capacity that working a normal job will ever work for me? If these days in particular, I even just look at a job posting online and my brain falls apart, what hope do I have elsewhere? I don't think I have any. Or maybe I've convinced myself I don't have any. It's very subjective. You know, well, now there isn't music playing. Screw it. You get to listen to me mine stuff, I guess. Mining gems, don't mind me. Where was I going with this? I had a point. Right, the point was that me making this video is, in part, a test of myself to see if I can actually make videos again, like at all, any kind of content. I forgot, that's the sound gem rocks make when you mine them. Never mind. Freaking annoying as hell. The sparkly sound. I figure if I'm ever going to be able to financially sustain myself in any capacity, it's going to have to be by unconventional means. Because normal employment is just going to make me want to die, and may very well drive me to killing myself. And at this point, I'm 29 years old. I've had enough experience with this kind of thing. I need to just accept that that's the way it is for me for now, and try to find something else. I can't stay living with my friends through just their generosity and kindness, because that's not fair to them, and that's not healthy for me in the long term. It's been over a year. I can't stay here, but I can't go anywhere else without a consistent income. So if I can get myself to do it, I might try to start making videos again. Any videos, I don't know what. I was working on writing a novel for a long time over the last few years. And I haven't worked on that in months because my mental state has deteriorated that much, but maybe in some hypothetical future I can get myself to finish it, edit it, publish it. Maybe I can make some money on that. I guess if anybody's still listening to this and you're curious about the book, by the way, let me know, because that project consumed my, like, all of my free time for a long time. I've still got pretty much the entirety of it mapped out in my head, and like over 30,000 words of just a rough outline and some notes. So, like, I don't know. I could talk about it if anyone's curious. I've been trying to consider what kinds of videos I could make, and I don't know if I can reasonably or justifiably, I don't know if justifiably is the right word, but reasonably, I guess, reasonably make the kinds of Let's Plays that I made before. Because the thing is, whenever I was making content, I was always deliberately making the kind of content that I would want to watch, barring these, like, sort of talky, diary type things. It was always the kinds of things that I enjoyed watching, and the kinds of things that I enjoy watching these days are good. They're good quality, they're educational, they're well informed, they're like, the editing standards are a lot higher now, and I don't currently have the skills or ability or arguably even time or energy to make those kinds of things, because I don't have, like, editing software, and I don't have the know-how to make that kind of stuff. And then most of the games that I play these days that might work for a Let's Play style content, just kidding, I don't think I play any anymore that would work for that. I basically I open old school RuneScape every morning, and I do just arbitrary bullshit in it all day. That's all I do. I do this, I usually just have some kind of music on in the background, and occasionally I chat with my friends on Discord, and that's it. I try to be productive, it doesn't work. So I figure maybe I should redefine what productivity is and make some of these other things that I do productive. I've thought a lot about making videos for this game, for old school RuneScape. I have no idea, by the way, if the cursor is actually being recorded or not. I did not check any of the settings when I sat down and hit the record button for this. Software settings, I don't, who cares? As long as my words are coming through, that's the important part. I don't even care if the audio level's good or not, it doesn't matter to me. Right, I've thought about making videos of this game. I don't know what I would do or how I would go about doing it, but let me just show you. See this down here? I think the highlight should show up. Time played. This is the total amount of game time that I've put into this game. Just this account. 411 days, 18 hours. I have played on this account in Old School RuneScape over the last 5 years, I think. Approximately 10,000 hours. I know more about this game than most people ever will in their entire lifetime, even most people who play it. I'm knowledgeable, I'm informed. There's a lot of potential for making videos here, which could very well be something that I could use to use as a springboard towards building enough of a platform that I could start to make money, that I could start to have an income that I could show to renters or landlords or property owners or whatever, that I can afford their absolutely fucking ridiculous rent costs in the area I live. But, what would I do? The kinds of content that works for this game are, really well edited, or very specific and point driven. And the way I play, I'm not really all that great at either of those. You see what I've been doing this entire 26 and a half minutes? Just clicking on these pink rocks. You want to know why I chose to click on pink rocks while I was making this? Because every single time I do, there's a 1 in 262,000 chance that I get the mining pet, which is just an incredibly rare thing that you can get while you're doing mining activities in this game. If it weren't for that pet, I wouldn't be mining these rocks. But at the same time, my purpose behind mining these rocks, and this can be extrapolated to just about everything I do in this game, is that there is a very, very slim chance I will hit that 1 in 260,000 chance roll. There's no content to be made out of that other than getting the roll. There's nothing. And this is what I do in this game. This is fun to me. I don't see anybody wanting to watch this at all in any capacity, but this is what I do. So I think I've more or less one of the problems I've been dealing with in the last couple of years is my ability to speak, to remain coherent and to process language has gotten bad. Very bad. It makes putting thoughts together really, really hard. I think I have probably said everything that I wanted to say here. And what I'm most likely going to do is just see if this video isn't too long, just throw it on my YouTube channel and say hi, I guess. If by some miracle anybody decided to pay attention, or at least listen to this for the last half hour, thanks for that. That's very kind of you to lend an ear for that long to a very broken soul. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. I should probably eat dinner. I don't wanna. I guess whomever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a very nice day. 'Cause Lord knows someone should have a nice day. And it sure isn't gonna be me.